In this video, we'll take a look at a few common symptoms of messy data. In other words, these examples will show some of the most common violations of the principles of tidy data. You saw this example in the first video. For each of 4 people, we have information on their age, eye color, and height. In this particular representation of the data, eye color is specified with a 1 or 0 for brown, blue, or other. But these column headers are actually values of what should be a single eye color variable. Here's a tidy version of the same data, which could be achieved by using the gather function from tidyr. Here, for each person, we have the number of dogs, cats, and birds he or she cares for as pets. This is essentially the opposite problem we had on the last slide, since values of the measurement column, n dogs, n cats, and n birds, should really be variables and thus represented as column headers. So prior to making the adjustment, we have variables represented in both rows and columns. But after the adjustment, each column represents exactly one variable. As you may have guessed, this result could be achieved by using the spread function from tidyr. Another common issue arises when multiple variables are stored in a single column. Here, the sex and age of each person has been combined in a column called sex-age. To get to a tidy data set, we simply split this column into 2 columns, sex and age, which could easily be accomplished using tidyr's separate function. Finally, there are 2 additional messy data symptoms that arise frequently enough to mention here. The first is when you have a single type of observational unit, for example, people, stored in more than one table. The second is when you have more than one type of observational unit, for example, people and pets, stored in the same table. Because joining and splitting tables is beyond the scope of this course, we'll just give a brief example of the second case. Here we have a single table with 2 people, Jake and Alice. But now, in addition to having each of their ages and heights, we also have information on each of their pets, including the type of animal and its height in inches. A telltale sign that something is wrong is that we have 1 row for each pet, which requires us to have multiple copies of the name, age, and height of each person. For example, Alice's name, age, and height are each listed 3 times here. This duplication is inefficient and often an indication that a table should be broken up into multiple tables, each representing only one type of observational unit. In this case, there should be a table of people and a table of pets. However, there must be some way of connecting pets to their owners, so we would be sure to list the name of the owner for each pets in the pets table. If you've ever worked with relational databases, this concept, called a primary key, may be familiar to you. Now that you're familiar with some of the most common symptoms of messy data, let's practice.